Hi, my name is Donna Heitmanek, and I'm the administrator of the Facebook page, Science of Reading, What I Should Have Learned in College. We're here today with Sharon Dunn, a retired principal from California, who has started her own Facebook page along with two other administrators. Their page is called Science of Reading for Administrators, What Your Teachers Want You to Know. Hi Sharon, welcome.
Thanks, Donna. It's nice to be here.
Sharon, tell us a little bit about your teaching career.
Well, I'm a recently retired principal. I retired in 2019, and I was principal of Loudon Elementary School in Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield, California. And before that, I taught several grade levels. I taught kindergarten, third grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, became a categorical program specialist, assistant principal, and then I was appointed principal of Loudon in 2009 and was principal there for 10 years until 2019. It was truly one of the most challenging endeavors I've ever undertaken, but one of the most rewarding, because when I was appointed principal at Loudon, we were a program improvement school, the lowest of the low in our district as far as performance. And upon retirement, we rose to the top of the higher performing schools that were not Title I, so that was quite an accomplishment for our school.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. So can you tell us about your journey, how you began using the science of reading?
Yeah, well, the science of reading is so important. There's so many factors to it, but for us, it began with the data. Data always tells a story. My first year as principal, there really wasn't any data on campus, and we, as a leadership, we visited other schools that were higher performing or showed growth, and we were trying to put some tools in our toolbox to improve our reading instruction. But I realized that really isn't possible without accurate data. So we implemented Dibble's Next. Now it's called Acadience, but Dibble's Next was our universal screener that we selected. And it was phenomenal. The authors are Roland Good and Ruth Kaminsky, and they've been such a support. They have 40 years of research. And from the data that we gathered with Dibble's Next, it was truly the life-changing moment for Loudon, because with our first year of data, it revealed in our kindergarten students came to us from their homes 36% at benchmark. And by the end of the year, they ended kindergarten 28% proficient for reading. So that meant that 72% of our kinders were going to go into first grade highly at risk, which was highly alarming, which created a huge sense of urgency. And as a new principal, I was like, okay, I'm responsible for this school. Our ship is sinking, and it's sinking fast. And the data revealed that. And I knew enough about the 5 essential components of reading. And looking at the data, it really revealed with kindergarten that we were sorely lacking in phonemic awareness. And as you know, through the science of reading, phonemic awareness is one of the critical foundation pieces in reading. So we sought to shore up that piece. We implemented Haggerty books and practices, and tried to learn as much as we could about phonemic awareness, the difference between phonemic awareness and phonics. And then we also brought in professional development to differentiate at the core, because the data revealed we had a core instruction problem, and we were not effectively meeting the needs of the kids. And so we instituted our first walk to learn, and we had small group instruction during a portion of the ELA block time, and that proved effective, but it truly wasn't effective enough. So it just kept searching, because we had our data and it was showing growth, but not enough growth. And so I knew enough that we needed a diagnostic assessment. And that really wasn't an easy undertaking. And that was about 2014. And I went to the National Title I conference, and I was able to meet Dr. Susan Hall, and I had a couple of her books on my shelf, and I thought, I can't believe I'm talking to Dr. Hall. And I got to know her 95% group materials, and she developed a diagnostic assessment that was amazing. And not only that, she developed the materials and processes to help fix the lowest skill deficits. And her materials and processes are all based on the science of reading components. So brought that back to school. We implemented and we instituted a tier 2 instructional piece, 30 minutes, 5 days a week. So we had 2 walk to learns in place. We had differentiation of the core, and then we had the tier 2 instruction, and we had our paraprofessionals trained and ready to push into classrooms and move. And it is quite a coordinated effort, but proved to have great results. 95% was just a game changer for us. With it truly equipped our teachers in the science of reading. It equipped our teachers to become reading experts. When we were implementing the elements of science of reading, meaning addressing the components of phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and reading comprehension, we were really implementing the structured literacy model and improving. We were working with tier 1 and tier 2 to improve those 5 essential components. And then at the end of the year, we have our CASP assessments in California, and that's the end all tell all. That's the state assessment that's very rigorous. So in 2015, that was the first year CASP scores were recorded, and Loudon just implemented these 2 systems working together, and we come out bottom of the 19 elementaries in our school district. And that was tough to take, but our progress monitoring data was showing that we were on the right course. It was a groundswell, it was going to come, and nothing happens overnight. And so it takes courage to stay that course. So in 4 short years, by 2019, that's the last CASP data recorded, we rose to the top of our district along with the higher performing schools that were not Title I schools. And so it proved to be very effective. And then the new principal, Steve Johnson, he is continuing with the implementation of the science of reading practices and the tier 1 and tier 2 components that we have.
That is an amazing story. It really is. So do you think using these techniques is reproducible in other school districts?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because they're all built on science of reading components. I know that through the understanding of the body of research of the science of reading, that we no longer have to guess on how reading happens and how to best support students to become good readers. We can prevent reading failure, and that's what we're doing at Loudon, because we had 72% at risk at first grade. That's no longer the case. And we know so much from the cognitive and neuroscience research over the last 10 to 20 years. It really confirms the science of reading components. And then also what we know from the science, and that reading is not a natural skill, that it is you have to develop reading skills. Like language, that's a natural skill. As babies they learn to talk, it's sounds, and then little parts of words, and then phrases, and then sentences, and language, and conversation. That's hardwired. But for reading, it's not. It has to be systematically taught and developed.
So it sounds like this is reproducible, and other districts can do that. And that is the point of this Facebook page, is for other administrators to understand what the science is about and how it can impact your reading scores in your district. So thank you, Sharon, for your time. We really appreciate you sharing your story about how you helped change your district's trajectory. That's really exciting news, and I'm sure they miss you terribly now that you're retired. By the way, what are you doing these days?
Well, thank you. You know, I have such a passion for reading and preventing reading failure that it doesn't leave when you retire. And we had about 12 school districts visit our campus when I was principal. And I've just been contacted to say, how can we do this at our school or our district? Can you come alongside and help us turn our school around and implement science of reading strategies? And so I became an MTSS leadership consultant and supporting schools. There's one last thought I'd like to say, is that is, there's no silver bullet, and it takes courage to lead. And the science of reading, that we can prevent reading failure, and that provides hope for the future for our students.
Thanks, Sharon, for joining us today. We really appreciate you sharing your story. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like this on YouTube. And don't forget, go to scienceofreadinginfo.com to learn more about the science of reading. And remember, whether dyslexia or not, the science of reading matters a lot.